All right. Good morning, everybody, to another market open stream here at the DGen Roundtable. A lot of you are probably looking at the charts right now saying, uh-oh, are we finally getting a correction? Because you're probably also looking at crypto Twitter and seeing all of the different posts talking about how there is an unfortunate escalation between the United States and China, according to Scott Bessent. I'm here to tell you right now that those sources are unconfirmed. It is absolute fucking nonsense. It is FUD. It is clickbait, which, congratulations, you caught my interest. You got me to click. This is the reason why we always encourage people to never trust and always verify, because otherwise you get caught in shit like this. So the unfortunate escalation that Bessent referred to, this was in referral to the actual escalation that happened in early April between the United States and China. So that's true. However, within the context of the weekend, because you folks know that they had a meeting over in Geneva, Switzerland, about potential tariff negotiations, and he said nothing of the sort. Nothing has been confirmed. The only thing that we do know is that we did make some progress towards an actual de-escalation. Significant de-escalation. The tariffs have been paused for another 90 days. So, surprise, surprise, they pushed the ball down along the line again. But there has been significant de-escalation between China and tariffs. And according to Donald Trump, he is going to have another meeting with President Xi later on this week. And here's the thing, gang. Whenever you see shit like this posted on crypto Twitter, AI is beautiful. I did this morning, right? I asked this precise question. Did Scott Bessent say that there has been an unfortunate escalation with China? If so, what are the details? And did he say this during the Geneva meeting over the weekend? And the wonderful thing about AI is AI actually pulls all of the sources for you. It scours, Grok in particular, scours all of the posts on crypto Twitter and pulls the actual resources for you. And surprise, surprise, there has been no such escalation between the two countries. So here are the details of the Geneva trade talks. Bessent, along with the U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer, met Chinese Vice Premier He Lifeng in Geneva to address escalating trade disputes, particularly following President Trump's imposition of 145% tariffs on the Chinese imports and China's retaliatory tariffs that were 125% on U.S. goods. The talks were described as a step toward de-escalation, with Bessent emphasizing the need to reduce tensions rather than secure a comprehensive trade deal. So that's what we know so far. There hasn't been finality. There has been progress made towards a de-escalation. But as far as the final product, they're still moving towards that. The outcome of the talks on May 11th, Bessent reported substantial progress without providing specifics. And the White House announced a trade deal on May 12th, right, which was yesterday or today, detailing temporary tariff reductions. The U.S. agreed to suspend 24 percentage points of its tariffs for 90 days. There's the pushing the ball further down along the line, once again, retaining a 10% rate. And China agreed to suspend or remove certain non-tariff countermeasures. And then I think there was another post by Donald Trump talking about how China has agreed to stop fentanyl coming to the U.S. I don't know, man. That's less of a interest for me, to be quite honest with you, because I care about crypto. Everything else is just cherry on top. Bessent's prior comments on escalation earlier on April 8th, 2025. Bessent called China's tariffs escalation a big mistake, arguing that China was at a disadvantage due to its higher export reliance on the U.S., which we spoke about. Right? Other countries, in particular China, require a larger portion of their GDP is predicated on their exports to the United States versus the other way around. This suggests he viewed China's retaliatory tariffs as an escalation, which may align with the unfortunate escalation remark. And here we go. Now we finally get to the crux of the matter. Did he say this during the Geneva meeting? There is no direct evidence in the provided sources confirming that Bessent used the phrase unfortunate escalation during the Geneva talks. The X posts citing the phrase were published on May 12th after the talks concluded, but they lack details about the exact timing or context of the statement. Given the focus of the Geneva talks on de-escalation and the subsequent agreement to reduce tariffs, it's possible Bessent referred to the prior tariff escalations pre-Geneva on April 8th as unfortunate, but the sources do not explicitly place the comment within the meeting itself. Congratulations. You played yourself. If you guys saw over the weekend, there was a significant amount of whales, Hyperliquid, Binance, Coinbase, placing massive shorts on Bitcoin. Is this a surprise that we get some kind of FUD during the market open? Nah, not really. Not really. But this is precisely why we encourage you to always verify and never trust anything that you see on crypto Twitter at face value and take it as the gospel truth. Even the stuff that we say here at the DJ and Roundtable. Because sometimes we might fall into the same exact traps. Dace, you have any thoughts on this particular issue, brother?
Yeah, look, I mean, I posted the White House announcement of the official deal. Whenever it's possible, we do our best to post any sort of official source. Jay did the exact right thing, which is go look for the source. I should have looked further and posted it, and I'm sorry I didn't. Thank you so much for covering that base. But yeah, I think, like you said, with big organizations placing shorts, it would not be the first time that you see a blatant, misinformation or FUD tweet or article. I mean, look, we've all followed the Richard Hart saga. Most of us have been here. We've watched it all go down. We've watched them announce some sort of Interpol red notice about like assault, and they've done the forensics on the guy's hands a couple days after the assault was supposed to happen, and he has no signs of being in a struggle. And so yeah, look, we've got all of the records of misinformation and FUD, and like you said, it can't happen to us, it can happen to anybody, and so always check your sources. Absolutely. Jay, you're still muted, sir.
Excuse me. I was saying that it is not your responsibility to write the post for, I believe the pace was unusual whales or something along those lines.
Yeah, they've got 480 million followers. I think it looks like Apex, Walrus, like a bunch of folks in here all follow this account.
Yeah.
And if you look through its other postings, none of it is terribly offside. Some of it's a little ambiguous. Some of it's pro Solana. So yeah, you never know where it's going to come from.
Yeah. The onus of responsibility is on that particular page to give the details to their audience, right? You shared something. It's not like you came in here and you were like, "Yo, there's an escalation going on. Sell everything." It's like, no, you shared something that you saw on crypto Twitter that looked interesting, and then, like we always say, the onus of responsibility is on the individual to actually verify that source if it is true.
Well, and that's where the value of this group comes in, right? We're all mutually minded. We all have a shared pool of resources and a shared mind share where we can take a look at the thing and analyze it before any of us act on emotion or instinct, right? It's a useful check.
Yeah, exactly. But that is that particular issue, gang. So we don't know any of the details aside from what has already been published. I mean the document that was shared regarding the Geneva meeting didn't exactly explicitly lay out everything that they spoke about. So we are still waiting on confirmation from the White House, from Bessent, and from anybody else who was involved with those negotiations. From China also, right? We're waiting for a statement from them to actually provide some details. We are in a wait and see mode. So don't get caught in the trap, right? Because believe me, they're trying to get you to activate their trap cards. Always carry a Jinzo with you. All right, let's go over and take a look at the charts. So, if you guys caught the live stream yesterday, that once again, we are probabilities based trader. We spoke yesterday about, hey, on a balance of probabilities, Bitcoin was going to take the high once again, and it happened live. So yeah, congratulations to us. And the question now is that we posed yesterday at the very end of the stream. Well, okay, that scenario played out, Jay. Is it time to now start considering short positions on Bitcoin? And I told you guys yesterday that we are going to determine that by what happens within local market structure. Now, we are here in the 4-hour chart, and you could certainly argue that we have a completed impulse to the upside. You can see here the primary count in green. We have a 5-wave completed move to the upside, right? Clean. Very nice. So let's give the bears the benefit of the doubt. Let's say that we do have completed market structure to the upside in an impulse, and now we are looking for a larger corrective move to the downside in a wave 2, right? Because the first 5 waves is a wave 1, and then your next move down in the bullish scenario is a wave 2, a 3-wave corrective move to the downside before eventual continuation of the bull market later on in the year, sometime around Q3 to Q4. Right, that is the primary bullish scenario at this current moment in time. If we were to make the assumption that the move to the upside is already complete and we're not dealing with a turbo bullish scenario in a multi 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and then obviously multiple 4, 5s to follow. Right, that still remains the lower probability scenario. So what are the targets to the downside that we are considering? Well, here is your target box of support. This is the common Fibonacci retracements for a wave 2 between the 0.5 and the 0.786 fibs. Your invalidation for this particular scenario is the 886 at 78.5K. If price were to somehow make it all the way back down there, then that means on a balance of probabilities, you look to take out the $74,000 low, and we look lower. Excuse me. But that scenario remains to be the lower probability scenario at this current moment in time, because of the strength of this move and because of the structure of the move. A particular point of interest for entries, if we do get a severe pullback, is the 85.1, between 84.5 and 85.1. There is a tight chunk of price there with a lot of horizontal support. Not only does your 618 fib sit there, you also have a weekly, a daily, and a monthly naked point of control that have yet to be revisited, sitting as major horizontal support for price. And so if the move down was to get that severe, then that is where I would consider entering heavily. But you can see here, you can see all the squigglies on my chart, right? You see a lot of horizontal lines here on my chart. Those are major areas of horizontal support on the daily, right? We have a daily here, a daily here, a daily here, a daily here, all naked points of control that have yet to be revisited, which will serve as major areas of horizontal support for price. So there is a lot of moves. There is a lot of horizontal support on the way down for price to use as support before we even start considering taking 74K. All right, but this is the scenario that we're considering if we are looking at a completed 5-wave impulse to the upside. Still bullish. Still bullish. And this is your opportunity if you miss this entire move up, right? Any moves to the downside, especially if they're corrective, are opportunities for you to add to positions if you miss this entire move up. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at what's happening locally. Let's go into 1 hour. Actually, Yep. Actually, you know what? Taking a look at the 1 hour chart here would be valuable, because you could see here that you can argue a wave 5 of 5 in a 1-2. Come on, come on, come on. 3, 4, and 5. So this would be your wave 5 of 5 complete. Sorry. Wave 5 of 3 complete. And so you're looking for a larger retracement to the downside, right? So you could argue that you, even here in the lower time frames, you could argue a completed 5-wave impulse. So what's going to determine whether we start getting bearish is what's happening with local market structure. If we zoom in, you can see that from the looks of it, now we have the start of a potential impulse. In A, 1, 2, and now you're looking for 3, 4, 5 impulse to the downside. We also have volume coming in, right? What are the things we look for? If we're looking for a shift in directionality, do we get significant market structure changes in the other direction, in this case to the downside? Do we have the volume? Do we have local bearish CVD supporting the moves down? And we actually do. On the cumulative CVD indicator, we don't have it quite yet, but on the spot CVD indicator, we do. Actually we had another bearish CVD confirmation, a lower high in price, a higher high in the spot CVD, and guess what happened? We took out the local lows. So that is a bearish CVD confirmed. So we have 3 things, we have 3 variables that we always look out for to see if we're going to potentially start getting significant market structure changes in the opposite direction. Right? So the bears have a argument, at least here locally, that we are going to shift. Right? But this is just the start. Can they actually complete the 5-wave impulse? Because right now, even though we have volume, we have structure, and we have local bearish CVD divergences supporting the move down, this is still a 3-wave structure. It's not impulsive yet. We're looking for a 5-wave structure, which means we're looking for a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 move to the downside. Currently, this is only 3, which means this could either be a 3 or it could be a C in a correction. Oh, that's what the heck? Sorry. There we go. ABC. Oh, gosh. Right, because wave 3s and wave Cs look very similar in structure, and they also look very similar in terms of volume. So we are in a wait and see. Currently, this is still a 3-wave move. We don't have a wave 4. We don't have a wave 5. So we are in a wait and see scenario. But it is a good start for the bears. Okay? But if they cannot maintain momentum, if they cannot turn this into an impulsive move to the downside, then we look for more highs. But this is now the time, right? You're hearing it at the start of the week. This is now the time. That little voice inside your head it should be at least there, right? Is it time to start taking a little bit of profits off of the table from your entries back down at 78.5K when we started going long? I'm not saying take everything off. I'm saying consider it. Maybe a portion, maybe a third, maybe 50%. That's going to depend on your own risk tolerance, on your own trading strategy. But that thought should at least be there. Should I start considering shaving a little bit off of the entries that I made at the low levels at around 74, 78.5K, or any of the entries that we gave you along the way, should I start shaving off some profits? Right. At least that discussion between yourself should be occurring, or at least something that should be considered. Right. All right. Let me get this fucker out of here real quick. Fucking scammer. Jesus. Right? But as it stands, you can see that even though Bitcoin did have that move down, probably from the fake news that's being shared around crypto Twitter today, the rest of the crypto market, it's still holding relatively stable. Right? Let's go ahead and take a look at what's happening over in the S&P. The S&P is green on the day. Right? Open green on the day. So, even traditional markets are not buying the fake news. All right, so, wait and see scenario, gang. Wait and see scenario. The bears are starting to make their move, but it is early in the move. It is early in the move. Once we get confirmation of the 5-wave move, there will be plenty of time to slowly get out of positions, if that is your strategy. Right? And my personal trading strategy is I wait for confirmations. I don't mind missing some of the move. I would rather enter a low risk, high reward trade, even if I miss some of the move, right? That is my own personal trading strategy. And I think that should do it. I just wanted to give you guys a very quick update because I don't want to leave everybody hanging, especially when there is all of this shit being shared around crypto Twitter. So at least I want to keep you guys informed, keep you guys abreast of what is actually going on in terms of the news. Any questions, comments, or concerns before we sign off here?
Hey, Jay, did we want to dive into another live chat with the member guys to see if we want to dive into anything else in particular, or do they think that's going to suffice?
I'm sorry, for the Walk the Block membership?
Yes.
If there are significant market developments later on in the day, I will be going live for our member section. I always try to give you guys 1 or 2 updates throughout the day in terms of what's happening with Bitcoin in the news, at least. But yeah, if it's necessary, then yes, I will be going live a little bit later on during the day as well. Jesse asks, update on pay with crypto for the paid portion. Jesse, unfortunately, with Wix doesn't allow us a pay with crypto option. So like the only other solution that we could possibly think of as a temporary solution is setting up a crypto wallet to receive crypto payments. I will speak to my team members and see if that's something that we wanna set up, or if it's going to complicate things in terms of like tax reporting and accounting. This is, please forgive us if we're taking a little bit more time, because this is kind of our first rodeo in terms of this kind of endeavor, right? So we're just trying to streamline the process, but I will get Tracker. Did you have something on this?
Yeah, I wanted to say Wix does have third-party partnerships that do allow it. We're diving in and looking at that, but we don't want that to hold up everything. Keep in mind, we're just launching and getting members in, but we are looking to try to definitely branch out to that, allowing crypto. There's just, I don't want to get into all the technicals, but there's a lot of other things you have to make sure when you're running a business, and it's also crypto. It's not like where you can just, set it up, say, here, send it to this DeFi wallet, and you're off and running. A lot of times these companies have to be tied to a third party or central exchange to actually properly do it for tax. They're scrutinized. And of course, with all the different regulations changing. So there's a lot of things we have to make sure that we're in compliance. So that's another thing we have to make sure. But yeah, it's coming.
Yeah.
And we're going to be looking into it and getting it straight. But keep in mind, we're taking an agile approach here. We're launching as much as we can as soon as we can to you guys, and we're going to keep refining, making it a better product for you guys and a better experience.
Yeah. And the reason why we do all that stuff, gang, is because like Wix takes care of all the accounting for us, right? It spits out one document for us that we submit to Uncle Sam at the end of the year. And it just makes all of that easier, right? We don't have to keep track of every single little detail, because if you've run a business, if you're an entrepreneur, like some of us here, right, you know exactly just how like stressful it can be keeping track of every single piece of information, because that's what they want you to do, right? They want you to jump all through this fucking hoops. So for us, it's just like we're trying to streamline the process as much as possible. So right now, like Tracker said, we're considering other payment options, but right now we don't have anything set up as far as crypto payments. So like my apologies. Again, I know I totally understand, like you don't want to dox yourself, but right now we don't have that option live, and it's something that we're going to be discussing this week. And once we have something like that set up, like you will be the first to know. I will DM you personally, and I'll let you know that we have that set up.
Hey Jay, I like to take that. We'll do that as the takeaway, just for your guys' knowledge. Let you guys know we are taking all this seriously. Jay, I'd like to do that as a takeaway for our team, so we can pull away. We can kind of figure out, maybe we have an ad hoc interim solution to maybe start accepting it. There's things we can figure out in the interim.
Okay, sounds good.
That's a takeaway. That's a takeaway for us.
Gotcha. All right. Any other questions, comments, concerns about the market and Bitcoin before we sign off here? Large?
2 more weeks, Jay.
Oh, like, hey, at least we got something set up, right? Like we got the payment rails, we got the website. We're already producing a ton of content for our members, right? There's already about like, I would say half a dozen hours worth of content there just from our initial launch that we have produced for our members. So we're definitely not shy at producing the content. So, but yeah, the crypto payment rails, it's an accounting thing, man. I wish it were easier. I wish it was just as simple as setting up a MetaMask and accepting crypto payments that way. But like Uncle Sam always makes it very complicated for business owners, man. So
yeah, I'm trying to get my C36. It's a plumbing license, and it's tough, man. It's a lot to do, and I could imagine you're trying to integrate crypto into it. That's maybe in 2 more weeks.
Yeah, maybe.
But
yeah, man. They want you to jump through a lot of hoops and go through a lot of red tape. So
yeah.
Well, actually, on that note, before I sign off here, I forgot to do my shameless plug. So here we go. We're going to go at Walk the Block. So if you want to join, if you love all the content that we produce here at DGen Roundtable, if you love the market open streams, if you find significant value in that particular content that we produce, then there is more for you to find over at walktheblockndf.com. Head on over to our membership area, and you will see that we have a limited exclusive offer. So jump in while you can. It's $25 for the first 25 members, or until 6/1. So that's June 1st of 2025. We want to provide the value to you first and foremost. So get in there while the getting is good. This is where we create more content about anything you might possibly want. Technicals, fundamentals, on-chain analysis. I'm actually going to do an on-chain video today about short-term profit taking using one of my favorite on-chain indicators. So please look forward to that. Whether you're beginner, expert, intermediate, doesn't matter what level you are, there will be something for you to find over there at our membership section. The digital seas is very difficult to navigate, so don't go at it alone. Make sure that you have your own Straw Hat Pirate crew to navigate the grand line together and find the one piece at the very end of the bull market. And by one piece, I mean mad gains and friendship. So that is it for my shameless plug. Please do not fall into and activate the trap cards of the fake news announcements over at Crypto Twitter. I always verify, never trust. And at this current moment in time, we are in a wait and see scenario. So until then, gang, as always, trade safely. And remember, DGen responsibly. Take care. Bye-bye.